And here we go. Welcome to the Rocket Legend Podcast, episode 145. I am your host, Supreme King. Joined with me, as always, is my co host, and his name is.
It's your guy Omezis.
How's everything going, man?
Chilling, man. Cannot complain. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It sounds like you on a different mic. It sounds like you switched this up or something. It's a little distorted, but that's okay. Let me see if I could just.
Oh yeah, had to get a new headphones because my laptop's acting crazy this morning.
Okay. Not as clear, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to. We're gonna do this live. We're gonna work on that. Anyways, I I have the gameplay for the new Donkey Kong game on the screen. I figured we would start with this since this seems to be I don't know if it's hot news, but the gameplay for this, or at least the game itself, the Donkey Kong game, apparently is getting high reviews across most popular platforms. They're all giving it like nines and tens. I've yet to see anything like say something like 6 or 7 or mixed reviews at all. Everybody's saying this is a really good game. So I do want to start off by giving my impressions. Now, I will say I probably won't show that much more footage for a while, but I was like, you know what, let me just put it in for about 30 minutes and let's just see what I can do with this real quick, just for the show itself. It's pretty fun, it's kind of satisfying, smashing through everything, but one thing I quickly noticed is it's not a bad thing, but it's very repetitive when it
Mm,
comes to what I'm doing. It really is just break a bunch of stuff constantly. The entire thing is just break stuff. A bunch of shiny gold stuff just comes out. Your bananas, little slices of bananas and stuff come out. It's not bad. It's fun for what it is, but I don't think it would be a game that hooked me where I got to continue to keep playing. Now I will say
mm,
it's my first impressions really. I don't need to really trash it at all. I think it's still fun. It's still very fun. But it's like fun in a Nintendo way. So if you're into the Nintendo style of games, this is definitely for you. I do still praise the idea of leading with some other game that's not Mario. So I don't want to like don't get it twisted. I'm very happy that it's not Mario. It's like everything is Mario. Like every 2 3 months is Mario, right? And so at least with a different character as the lead, this is a step in the right direction for me. Not that I want Mario to go away. It's just I would like to have Mario every now and then versus every 2 3 months. So that's just how I look at it. This is still fun. You start off, obviously we're in like a mining type thing. Maybe Donkey Kong's on his job a little bit. He's got to bust and break through this. Um, and I actually stayed in this. This was like the tutorial. I was trying to see how much can you actually break before it just runs out. And eventually you will hit like little black borders of a wall where you just can't break no further. And you kind of have to just go back in the other direction. And you'll
mm.
start to see it. So it's not everything being breakable, which is obvious. Like, of course, the player base was going to try it and be like, well, how far does it go? It's not infinite. You will see the different borders at the end of the day, and so that's most of the gameplay. To be honest, was what I'm doing right here. Um, and then you have your typical mush mouth characters who don't really like talk. They just kind of like like how a lot of them Nintendo games be. Um, so I did have some fun with the gameplay that I did play. This was about 30 minutes, but as you can see, like it will be 30 minutes of just doing this. Like quite literally, it will be 30 minutes of the exact same thing. Now, I did prolong some stuff just because I was really trying to see how far into this board can you break. Um, but yeah, is it a 9 or a 10? I mean, if you're a long term gamer, this might be more of a 7. I don't think I would probably say 9 or 10.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you're a little kid that's just like your eyes are just like opening up because of all the colors and everything, then yeah, this probably might be a 9 or a 10 for you. Casual person, it might be an 8 or a 9 for you because you ain't playing a bunch of stuff. But if you somebody, especially like me, you playing like quite literally on everything. Nah, this is more like a 7.
Mhm.
It's not that good compared to other stuff, but fun nonetheless. Good way to start Nintendo's new console life cycle. I think there's a few other things that I want to talk about with Nintendo. Most of my footage for this episode is centered around some topics that's going to be more about Nintendo. We still got a few other topics that I have that's not Nintendo. But everything you got to see as we go along, it's gonna make sense. But I do want to say, I'm still on the old capture card device. I did not pull the new one out to play this, so the footage is still nice, crystal clear. So I fixed my settings on my streaming PC like I said I would. And this footage ended up being clear, as you can see. It looks fine, right, compared to whatever that grainy footage I had on that Mario Kart a couple weeks ago. Did you watch or see any reviews or anything for this Donkey Kong game?
Oh no, I didn't watch any of the reviews, but I did hear that like people were enjoying it.
Yeah. Um, I will say, um, I'm probably putting that whole system down for a little bit. Once a few more titles come out, I will probably dedicate some more time to strictly the Nintendo system, Switch 2 to be specific. But yeah, afterwards, I'm gonna probably play some more of the Switch 1 with Mario Kart off air, handheld wise with the Nixie controllers and everything. Um, and then just stick with Game Pass. I'm about to buy another 3 month or use my 3 month code from the headset, MetaQuest, just to extend it a little bit further because I think it expires in a week.
Mm.
And I just started Metaphor, so it's like yeah, I gotta extend it, right? But yeah, so this is Donkey Kong. I recommend it. I think everybody should at least play it. But as footage goes on, you're gonna see a couple more things. Because I thought it was probably fun to compare. This game, I'm going to compare this to something else from the past, and some of you might know what I'm about to compare it to. But um, let's move on, man. Let's actually, while we're still in this footage, because there's a couple more Nintendo things I wanted to talk about, and I think you mentioned something about Nintendo banning something. What were you talking
Hmm.
about? What's going on with that?
So this guy bought a used game from Facebook Marketplace for Switch. Put it into a Switch 2, downloaded it. And then the next day his account was banned because he was accused of trying to use a pirated game. So he had to contact Nintendo's customer service and prove to them that he purchased the game off of Facebook Marketplace and that he ain't know it was a pirated game for them to unblock his account because it like wouldn't let him download anything or access any of the online stuff. And then they like let him do it, and all these people were like, Nintendo's making it easier for those who have been victimized, and I don't think they should be doing it to begin with.
Okay, do we know what game this was?
Nope. And so he didn't say what game it was. That they said that he bought like a few games for Switch One, and it turns out they were pirated. And it also hasn't specified if he's still able to use the game cartridges that he purchased, or if Nintendo's considered them full pirated and not allowed.
So this is on the first Switch. It's not even. Oh, this is on the Switch
Oh, it's
two
the
though,
second.
right?
Yeah, it was just Switch One games, but he bought it, put it onto his Switch Two, and then they were like, "Oh, this is a pirated game," and then just bricked his system, or not
But it
bricked, but
was
banned.
like a cartridge though. Was this a
Hmm.
cartridge?
Yeah, so you can
Hmm.
download you could take cartridges and like download ROMs. So some people do that to resell old Game Boy Advance games. You buy like a blank cartridge and you upload like a ROM to it, so then people can put the cartridge into an old Game Boy and it still works. Right? So it's just downloading the code to it. Basically putting the it's like putting the downloaded game, the ROM, onto a CD. Like basically is what they're doing. But they put it onto the Nintendo cartridge. Nintendo was like, "This is a pirated game," and then block their account.
So I got a question about that too. Was that Mayflash? I think it's called Mayflash.
A MIG flash.
Yeah, something like that. Was it that? Because I know
Yep.
you could put like more than one on there or
Yeah.
something like that.
So, oh no, there have been reports of MIG flash. This wasn't that. This was just they bought the game and people just put a pirated game onto the like a fake cartridge to make it look like a real Switch game.
Oh my gosh! Because I saw somebody try to run an experiment with that online. They was like, "Let me start up a new account," and they put a bunch of like Switch One titles, third party titles, and first party onto it to see if it would brick theirs. And I guess, of course, it didn't do it at the moment because it was more brand new. But this was something I think Nintendo said they were going to do, like on some sort of like platform. They were just talking about it at one point, like in a forum or
Basically,
something.
hmm the idea is that like you can also like download like the data of a game to a micro SD card and
Yeah.
then sell that so people like will have access to the game. The issue is when you do that, since games have a unique ID number, Nintendo can tell if two different consoles are using the same thing and then will like try and figure out which one's the pirated one and ban it.
See, that was an issue I had with them with Mario Kart because I was trying to play the Mario Kart DLC that I bought. And it
Hmm.
was like, oh, it can't be on more than one system at a time. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
what is you even
that's
talking
the
about?
idea.
They're like literally right next to each other, just sitting here. And
Yep.
I'm like, and it has to do this little virtual car gimmick thing where all they do is show you this little graphic of it virtually like slamming itself into the system. And I'm
Hmm.
just like, I don't got time for that. Like, I just need to pick it up and just play. And it was just
Yep.
doing other stuff. And I was really mad about it at the time.
You should still.
And yeah, I was just like, dude, I don't got time for that. Like some of us get real money out here, and we really got limited
Hmm.
time, like limited time. And when something like that happens, it's like, dude, what did you even like? It's just it's the fact that Xbox has this thing they call like Play Anywhere, and like everything is seamless, and it's like there's none of that. You just literally just hit the button to turn it on and just play. Where you
Hmm.
stop with something like this, and then it's just like, no, you gotta like do this and do that, and it's like for what though? And
Yep.
it's like
I was getting
it's
upset that people were like going like, yeah, the to be able to prove that you didn't actually steal it is very seamless and good job on Nintendo for doing it. It's like, no, like you bought the game. Like I don't know, it's just like you bought the system, you bought the game. It's not their business. Like I feel like it's this weird. I want to control how you use my stuff. I even saw this picture. It was like a little meme with some guy apologizing to his wife and family. It was like, "I'm sorry, we can't eat dinner tonight because someone pirated a game that I made in 1995." And they were labeled Nintendo. And it's just that's the idea. It's just like, dude, you can't control how people use their stuff and everything. Like I can see if you want to be like, oh, we're gonna block you from using our online services because you broke our terms and conditions. But to straight up be like, well, you can no longer download or access any of your games because we blocked your ID. Because we think you stole a game. It's like, and I have to prove to you, nope, I purchased it and I didn't know. And it's just like, no, I'm not doing all of that. Get
I
about my
do
business.
I do want to mention, I forgot to mention. So when Donkey Kong, when I first put it on, the system prompted me that I needed to do an update. And normally when you do an update, you would see the like progress of it as downloading something like a patch or something. But it actually didn't do that. Like this was the day it came out or whatever, right? It came in the mail, and it just so happened to be an off day for me. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna put it on. And the update was just like it needs to restart real quick. And it was like really weird. I was like, why does it need to restart? So we restarted the whole system. And then afterwards it just like prompted me to like go ahead and click the game again. And then when I clicked it, then it worked. And I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, that's DRM. That was
Mm-hmm.
no actual update. Like it needed to do a check.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so it's gonna do a check every time you get a brand new game? Is it like it's gonna prompt it like the game itself triggers a check or something? Because it's so goofy because it's still not changing the fact that somebody's gonna take the cartridge. It's like I can go buy the cartridge right now, any cartridge, right? Let's say it's a Switch
Mm-hmm.
2 cartridge, and never actually put it in the Switch 2, but hook it through one of them little things that everybody has, where you just dump the data to your computer, and then that's moved around. That's actually how people do it. They don't pirate to put it back into the Switch. They pirate and put it on the Steam Deck. They put it on
Mm-hmm.
the Legion Lenovo and the like Rogue Ally and stuff. Nobody pirates to put something directly back on the Switch. Like so, they're really doing a redundant thing because it's like I could literally go and get any of the data offline. I don't even have to go through them at all, and then put it on any of the other handhelds. And I mean, maybe they could know if they tried to track an IP address, but it wouldn't come from my actual game system. It's like, but the people who bought it, like, actually spent the absurd amount of money, are the ones who have to suffer, which is so dumb.
Yep.
That's so dumb. It's not gonna stop. Like everybody who bought Tears of the Kingdom and they played it day one or something, 2-3 weeks after all the pirated people was done with it. It's like it's they can't help that. That's not their fault. And you can't like why are we punishing the people who bought the game for the people who pirated it? You know what I'm saying? I got so much other stuff
Mm-hmm.
on my Steam Deck. I don't really care too much to play a Nintendo game like that. Unless I really just want to play one of them old things, but at the same time, like let me say this one thing and then we can move forward. If you're gonna come out with GameCube games on the Switch 2's like eShop and stuff, why don't you just put the entire library on there? Whatever the I don't care how much it would have cost for a licensing fee. Like cut the check and come out with your own GameCube Game Pass. You could have easily done that and had the entire library on a virtual shop where people could just play. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like they could have, because you got to think about they created a whole like Six Flags or something over there that can't nobody even go to that often, especially the American office. Like you could have like easily ran that check if you could create a whole Six Flags, a whole like factory or a museum of all these different things and all these like rando stores and stuff. You could cut a check and put all of the GameCube games on your eShop as a ROMs and have people play it there if they have that $50 membership, then it'll be worth it. But if you're gonna drip feed only like 2 or 3 at a time, and we don't want to go after what was like a licensed game, a copyrighted game, or whatever it is from the past, it's like, well, you wasted everybody else's time. If they want to go get the other stuff, then let them go get it. Cause you're not providing the product in real time. This system is brand new, so it's gonna take them about 8 years of them literally drip feeding that content. So and at the same time, you're not going to like give us like certain licensed titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just stuck in the past, which I'll show you a few examples of them in a second. But it's like literally there's a demand for it, obviously, and you can't meet the demand. So the people are going to go where it's ready and plentiful, which is the World Wide Web, obviously. Um, there's more Nintendo news. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. It gets way worse than your
Oh boy.
story. But I guess I can go into it because I just named the section Nintendo banning gamers, but are you familiar with the story of a dude that I think he calls himself. Let me see, because I wrote way too much on this paper. His name is Once Word Nerd.
Mm-mm.
So it's a YouTuber from Italy. And everything is in his language, in the Italian language. We can't really understand it unless you speak it. There's nothing in there in English. But his content is all centered around the emulation scene. So you already know where I'm going with it. And he hosts content with a lot of the Ambernic devices, and Nintendo now is apparently aware of Ambernic, which I knew they would at some point. And what Ambernic would do is they'll say, well, we just won't put any first party games on our little devices. We'll put a bunch of outdated third party games. But technically, because they're putting a bunch of those games on those devices by default, they're still distributing and selling copyrighted content at the same time they're, selling their devices. Now, devices itself is still fair game, even though I think there might be a window of Nintendo finding a loophole about them looking exactly like a Game Boy SP, or a Game Boy Advance. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to find a loophole there, since they've found a loophole with the Pokemon and the Power World and all the other stuff. So this particular gamer, his YouTube channel is all about how to set this stuff up in the Italian language. There's plenty of people out there that do the same thing in American language, and I've talked about it in the past. But basically, his channel was flagged, and he's being investigated. And apparently, I don't know all the details as far as the laws in Italy, so somebody gonna have to look that up. But this is the first time I've heard of something like this, where they had a search warrant and they showed up to this dude's house to literally confiscate his consoles. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, they will show up to your house and take your game systems from you. Jeez. Because he got Ambernic devices with this stuff on it, and probably a bunch of computers and stuff where he has a bunch of this stuff stored. And so, it's like guilty until proven innocent. So he's supposed to, they're supposed to see if he's going to be charged with something. But in the meantime, they literally came and took his stuff. So that's the whole thing in his channel. I think he put up a video saying goodbye or whatever, so he's not going to post anything until we figure out what's going on. But his channel was basically stopped, and everything, his whole operation stopped, and they came after him and came after his games. And for me, the absurdity is out of this world, because we're going out of our way for the people who play video games. And not to be all political about it, but meanwhile, we got all of these trafficking people who keep walking free and stuff. All the real crimes and stuff is like nobody cares about any of that. It's we're gonna stop you from playing a game that's from the past or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so silly to me.
Again, congrats. We stopped them from getting this 1998 video game that you can't get anywhere, because we're not gonna re-release it. We did it, guys. We saved the day.
I sent you a message. There was a mom and pop store that's near here that was trying to sell a Super Nintendo game for $2,000.
Yep. Good thing we saved them.
Yeah. Nintendo will see none of that money, right? And all the developers are either retired or dead at this point. It's come on. Nobody is. It's kind of goofy, really. Anybody who wants any of those Game Boy looking devices, my advice to you is to get one while you can. I honestly feel like at some point or at any moment, Ambernic might be taken down, simply because they shipped those devices out with a certain amount of stock games on it that was like a whole bunch of third party games from the past, and that's the part that's gonna get them really. If they just ship it out there with nothing on it, it would have been fine. But they have been doing that this entire time, and that's enough for them to take them down, really. And Nintendo's games aren't on it, but Nintendo is invested because obviously people would get it and then they would turn around and they'll put the Nintendo games on there themselves. All the
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon games are usually the main ones, and then obviously a bunch of old school 2D Mario games, all the other stuff, maybe some old Donkey Kong and Kirby and everything, right? It's like I always talk about how just go on there and Google the entire library because it don't take up that much space to begin with. Put the SD card in there and then bada bing bada boom, right? And so Nintendo is aware, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we just hear, oh, the people who make these devices are no longer going to be able to make the devices. So I think by the time we get to my birthday time, or probably a lot sooner than that, I will. I mean, by September for anybody out there, I would probably grab a couple more in a couple different colors, just to have, just for the memories and just to play a few. Because I do think at some point it's they're going to get pulled down, because Nintendo is invested there and where, and they're picking on all these little gamers here and there, and
Mm-hmm.
those devices are really cool and they're very cheap. You can get them for next to nothing when you think about it in the long run. And then yes, you can go and grab like a giant library off the internet, right? It is what it is. Um, I do want to move on right before this footage goes away, but I gotta say one thing. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna say it every single time we revisit this topic. There is one website that Nintendo continues to ignore that hosts a whole lot of games that they have that are current games. I wouldn't be surprised if you start to see a bunch of Switch 2 stuff on there as well. And Nintendo refuses to bring out the cease and desist. Nobody is seizing anything. Nobody running up on these people. Nobody is saying anything about its CEO. And you already know which website I'm about to say, right?
Yeah.
And that is Amazon. So, where is this lawsuit for Amazon? Where's the cease and desist for Amazon? Where's the people showing up with search warrants at Amazon warehouses? Any of that? Where is any of that? None of that comes up. It's crazy to me. None of that ever comes up, and they continue to sell these 501 consoles that look exactly like the Super Nintendos and stuff, like a spitting image of it. They continue to sell hard drives that have a bunch of Switch games, a bunch of GameCube games, Wii games on there, first party Nintendo games, a whole bunch of other stuff. I have I think it's called a Mayflash thing where it's like is the sensor bar for the Wii basically, but you use it on a PC. It's like they sell that on there. They sell like nunchucks and stuff, all the old systems, controllers, everything, and nobody does anything. Nobody says anything to Amazon. You could literally get copycats of every device that Nintendo has ever put out, and nobody is saying, "Okay, Jeff Bezos, you got to go to jail." It would be absurd if they even tried to go there. And if Amazon pulled Nintendo's products from their website, Nintendo would be screwed. Like they already know. They already know. But listen, Donkey Kong is not the only title that gives you the smashing and button mashing and all of that. If you don't want to be bothered, there's a game out there that I would like to introduce you to, which is called The Incredible Hulk. Coming from the PS2 GameCube era, yes, you would have to go find it either in these mom and pops, or you can do what I do, what everybody else does. That I don't have no shame in saying. How you think this footage looks? Is this footage clear? This is footage with my old capture card with the new settings, and it looks
It looks
crisp to
good.
me. It looks
I
fine.
like it.
This is a PS2 game, a GameCube game, probably also Xbox original game. And it does the same thing. I actually think this is a little bit better because here you're not just smashing just for the sake of smashing. You're actually like fighting against the resistance a little bit, aka the police. So there's some offense a little bit. It's mad hilarious to just like run up and punch the crap out of a little human being. But honestly, I feel like you get the same gameplay really that you would get from the Donkey Kong game. And then either you probably pay 10 times more or you don't pay anything at all, depending on what you plan to do. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Incredible Hulk in all his glory. Some of you might know him from the MCU if you're in that age range, and some of you might know him because you grew up knowing the Incredible Hulk. Have you ever played this game back in the day?
Oh yeah, a little bit. I didn't own it. A friend did.
Yeah, it's fun. Now this version is from, I think this is the PS2 version, but this is on the Steam Deck, running through the capture card, and so um yeah, good footage. Gameplay, as you can see, is very similar. You just smash every little thing, but you got some offense here. Some people is kind of shooting at you and stuff, and then you could just kind of beat the crap out of them. One hit and then they go flying back. Unlike the Marvel Avengers game, right? You got to sock them like 8 or 9 times.
Yep.
PS2 got it right. How funny is that? But the PS5 didn't. Anyways, that is Donkey Kong, or not Donkey Kong. This is the Incredible Hulk. I honestly feel like the gameplay is very similar. Um, it when I was playing the Donkey Kong game, it made me want to play this. Honestly, it really did. And I was like, let me go ahead and get the footage for this episode. Um, and that's the cool thing about having the variety. I do encourage everyone to have your variety and don't just play the latest and greatest. Go back in time and play something that's just like timeless or is not pushing any type of like new agendas, a bunch of loot boxes, all of that stuff. Just play something that has some fun. That's the whole point of this, and so that's what I did um, with this title. And I do want to get back on track. So let's switch gears for a second. Let's leave Nintendo alone for a minute. Unless you want to bash them one last time. Anything else for Nintendo?
I ain't got nothing else to say about them.
Um, as far as the Donkey Kong game, I mean, it's just the game is innocent. Play the game if you really want to play it. It's the company behind it that we have issues with here and there. But yeah, let's move on. PlayStation at one point did the state of play for Ghost of Yotei, I think a week to possibly a week and a half ago. Did you see this state
Hmm.
of play?
I did.
All right, so the state of play, they showed us some more gameplay. They showed us, they explained the situation with the girl and like her family,
Hmm.
somewhat of a revenge plot. At some point late in the gameplay, they showed us the dog and how that's gonna work, and they mentioned more than one animal actually. Um, but go ahead, tell me your impressions of what you saw with Ghosts of Yotei.
It looks like you're, and I don't mean this in a bad way, even though it's gonna sound bad.
Mm-hmm.
Generic, like samurai revenge story, but like
It did.
those are always fun to go through, right? Like it's a timeless thing to me. Like I don't need them to reinvent that wheel. So that part, like it seems like an easy way to get hooked into the game. Um, Gameplay looks crisp. Like it looks like some of the footage from the first one as well. I always trust Sucker Punch knows what they're doing. Um, One of my favorite things to see was the costume customization. More specifically, they had the Assassin's Creed look and a Kill Bill look in the
Mm-hmm.
game. So when I play this, I'm probably gonna go directly for that Kill Bill like yellow samurai look. The yellow and black. Um, yeah, the gameplay seems fun. Um, I don't think Ghost of Tsushima had the gun in there. This one does. Like you have like the old school, fill it up with gunpowder. You get one shot, and then you got to keep it moving type of
Yeah.
guns in there. So that seems interesting. Um, was Ghost of Tsushima also in English?
Yeah, it's also in
Or is
English,
that
but they
okay?
have the Japanese voiceovers. You can have the English text, or you can do
Mm.
Japanese text as well. They
Okay.
do mention you can have like the movie filters where you can make it black and white. If you
Mm.
want that old school feel, you can switch your weapons around. Just like I think you just said, and then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
The English was jarring to me.
Mm-hmm,
Like it was fine, and I get it. Like I'd probably when I play it, it's gonna be in English because I'm not trying to read the whole time. But like when it was
mm-hmm.
just at first, like she walks up all samurai style, and the guy's just like, "Who are you?" And she's just like, like on some like I'm looking for, and I was just like, "Oh, that was some real good English." Like it just, I was so in the zone of it being like a classic samurai film that the English completely threw me off for a second. But overall, the game seems interesting. Like I said, I trust Sucker Punch on their games. They know what they're doing. They're one of my favorite game studios, so it's
I
hard for
thought
me to even like
the classic music or their original like they showed the orchestra people and everything that they were using.
mm-hmm,
um I think that's a lot better than the lo-fi, but they mentioned it was you can have the option to do lo-fi in there. I feel like the
mm-hmm.
lo-fi did not match at all. I thought it did not match the feel of the game or anything. But
I
if you're
agree.
somebody who really likes it, then you can change to lo-fi. um they do have like the Yotei 6 or something, I guess, is the
Yeah,
enemies. So that reminded me of like the Spider-Man 6 people or whatever as soon
Sinister
as they
Six.
said it.
Yeah.
But you can hunt down enemies that are hunting you, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Clear some bounties. That was a big thing that they kept showing, is like the bounty hunters coming after you, but you can also go after them. And then, it's very colorful and flashy, but then again, you can still make it black and white, like I mentioned. Some of that I think you could still do in the first Ghost of Tsushima, make it black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, they revealed that they have a special edition PlayStation 5 controller and console covers that you can have.
Yeah.
Um, which I wasn't really too interested in, but maybe somebody out there might like that. I still feel like with it being primarily white, that is just not for me. But I'm cool with my console covers. I got a white one and black one, so just the plain ones. Um, but if y'all want that, go ahead and get it. Are you interested in that controller at least, or maybe the covers, or maybe
Uh,
a whole nother system?
Not necessarily the covers. The controller seems good. But I just like collecting controllers. So, um, yeah, I don't know if I'll get it per se because I'm also not trying to like rush beat people pre-order and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
um, looks good.
Well, for anybody who wants it, I think the console and the controller might come out when the game come out. I don't know that detail for sure, but I do know the game itself is set to come out October 2nd, 2025. So
Hmm.
it's just before the holiday season really kicks in, which is normal for these companies. They always like to do that. You know what's kind of silly? It's like we're still in this mindset that we want to pay for the games because it's around Christmas time.
Yeah,
I don't feel like that
I
matches
don't
the
think it's.
audience at all. Like,
I don't think that's targeted towards us. I think that's targeted towards parents.
yeah,
Like I think
it's
they put it on the like because like the game's coming out, and then around that time is when the parent asks the kid, "What do you want for Christmas? Like, what's your Christmas list?" Since it's
hmm
fresh on the kid's mind, right? They're not thinking about the thing that came out in March. They're thinking about the thing that just flashed on the TV as they're writing it.
yeah,
So then that gets added, and then the parent will like go buy it, and it's they can keep it at full price because it's new. So I honestly think that's they feel like for the regular gamer, they're just gonna buy it whenever it comes out. But this is specifically to like, or actually, like the gamer is not gonna be like, I don't want to buy it in October because I don't want to buy things close to Christmas, right?
yeah.
They're just gonna get it when it comes out. while the other parent will be like, well, I'm not buying this right now, because it's not near Christmas or whatever. Like you can wait for Christmas. So it is weird because I don't think that is a thing as much anymore as it was in like 2005. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's where, again, think about the people who make all these decisions. They're so out of touch, anyways. They're probably like, well, this is a thing from 2005, so we'll keep it.
Yeah. Well, however they want to do it, I think they still shoot themselves in the foot because October always, for some reason, is that month where it's like we got to put 6 or 7 games here at the same time too.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't pace it for themselves. And honestly, they wouldn't have to do that if they regularly price these things. These games really should have stuck around the $50 to $60 price range. Once we
I
start
agree.
doing this 70 and 80, now you got to do all of that, and then everybody else is doing the same thing, and none of y'all making money. It's like, well, it's your fault. So, well, this is October 7th or 2nd, the second day in October. That you can go grab this. I don't know that I'm pretty sure they have some sort of collector's edition or something out there that don't got the
Oh,
game but got a title like a trophy or something with it. So yeah, or statue. So
don't
have at
got
it.
the game.
Yeah, it don't got the game. It's gonna have everything else but the game. But yeah, there was another title I did wanted to mention real quick. Are you familiar with the game Ready or Not?
No. I remember you talking about it because there was a review for it, but um, I am not familiar with it. I think like I know it's a shooter, um, but I didn't know anything past that.
Ready or Not was originally just a PC exclusive from 2023. It was a little bit more bare bones for about a year, and then they managed to get it, worked on it, and then had some DLC and stuff for it. And it
Mm.
was coming to console. I believe right now, it's available for console. And wasn't too much, looking at it. It wasn't really on my radar. I just had a couple coworkers that have mentioned this game and that they have bought it to play with each other, and they was trying to tell me to play it, and I was like, all right, I'll look into it. And I was like, okay, I'll at least look into it for this, for example, the podcast. But I watched the gameplay for it. I think I sent it to you. It's basically a first-person tactical shooter, but unlike a regular tactical shooter, you play it in first person instead of like top down, and you and your team, which could be like your co-op guys, or you could play with like AI crew. Is supposed to, go into a mission and try to capture as many people as you can, and go through it and arrest as many people and all of that.
Mm.
That type of title. It still looks like at the beginning it's like your typical shooter, but it's really a tactical based thing. Y'all work together and clear out the floors and stuff and arrest everybody, basically. The console version with the DLC is like $70, but if you get the base game, it's $50. And basically, a lot of people are into it. If you're into co-op type titles and stuff, basically, this is up your alley. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what, I might go into it or something. I'm not really always trying to play a brand new game right then and there, but you know how it is when you have a whole bunch of family members and stuff. Not family members, a whole
Yeah.
bunch of coworkers and stuff wanting to play it, or even family. Then it's like, okay, you kind of have to. But yeah, real quick, the real destruction game is on the screen. I just had to mention, Godzilla, destroy all monsters melee. I had to take it back for a second, man. I had to take it. No disrespect to Ready or Not. I just want to stop for a second and admire this fun and also kind of difficult game. It was hilarious. I was getting my butt kicked like towards the middle of this footage. But yes, man, like listen, if y'all want to play some destruction, there are some titles out there in the past, man. I've been on the Godzilla tip for a minute, man. I've been on the Godzilla tip. Have you been you watch or keep up with some of the Godzilla content out there, man?
Yeah. Mainly the the American movies, the King of Monsters thing. That's the main ones that I follow.
Listen, man, we gotta get you on to the Japanese.
We
The
do.
Japanese ones are far superior, and I do wanted to mention. I'm gonna come back to Ready or Not. I'm not gonna disrespect Ready or Not. Listen though, the Japanese games or movies are the superior movies. Shin Godzilla, and most recently, award-winning, Oscar-winning movie, which is Godzilla minus one. Who would
Hmm.
think that a Godzilla film would win an Oscar? But it did, and um, I think it was phenomenal. I just wanted to mention because it was all coming together for me. I was like, you know what, we gonna have some destruction based games, to pair with the Donkey Kong. And this thing right here was getting on my nerves. He was kicking my butt the entire time. I was just like, dog, like he can't be that hard to beat. But anyways, Godzilla has a lot of new movies that are in the works, both American and Japanese. So you're gonna see a lot of that coming up. But I also am happy to announce that they are looking into making video games as well. And
Hey.
we're going to see more of that content. Now, if you're really looking for a video game, please do what I did and just go back in the past and grab something like this real quick. Play it. As you can see, my footage looks pretty nice with this game as well. This is also on the Steam Deck, but I believe this was a licensed game from the GameCube that clearly Nintendo is not going to bring forward because it's a licensed game. This is pretty much the
Hmm.
only way you're gonna get it, unless you go give a mom and pop store about $2,000 or something. It's your choice. It's your choice. But if you want to face this annoying thing that's just like spinning me around on his arm and stuff and just throwing me all over the place, you could do that on your Steam Deck, on your Rogue Ally, on your Lenovo Legion Go, your Claw device. With any one of these devices, you could play this on there, have a good old time. Funny little arcade game. As you can see, he didn't knock me out. I only want to play as Godzilla. Really, I don't want to play Drill Turtle Man who just killed me. Embarrassed me on my own channel in front of everybody. Anyways, more Godzilla games coming. Movies are coming. More movies will be coming. 2026, I believe, is the Japanese movie that's going to be coming, and then I guess they have a rule which I didn't know about until somebody explained to me on one of their videos I was watching for the research for this. The Japanese movies and the American movies have to be like they can't come out in the same year or something, whatever that is. So really, it's gonna be back to back. One year is gonna be the Japanese movie, the next year is gonna be the American movie. Then we back to the Japanese movie, then coming back to the American movie, and then you're gonna get a sprinkling of some games here and there, all up in there. So Godzilla sounds like he is alive and well. We're gonna see more of him within the next 5 years of content, year after year, and I'm very excited about that. But like I said, if you really want to get your hands on Godzilla games and gameplay, you can go back. You can find this title. There's like two or three other titles from the past that have the same type of quality as this. You probably will see more of it in the future if I ever have to like revisit Godzilla topics, maybe for the movies or something like that. I'll show some more footage. But I did want to mention that at some point because listen, Donkey Kong ain't the only game that just has mindless destruction. You know what I'm saying? You can go back, you could play some Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Or you could play the King of Destruction himself, Godzilla, and the monster that keep like beating me in each round. You know what I'm saying? Does it look fun? It's clunky. I will admit, it's clunky. The controls aren't that tight. This is a game from over 20
Do
years
you
ago.
agree? I
Huh?
feel like for something like this, the clunkiness helps, right? I
Yeah,
just
you
think
know what I'm
about like
saying?
how I don't know. I equate it to like Megazord fights, or like whenever let's say Ant Man grows or something, where you move clunkier. So I feel like the clunkiness adds to it. Part of the charm. I don't need it to be like super smooth. It's monsters.
Yeah, and then you could have you could do some multiplayer in here. You could face each other, or y'all could all just run around the city and just do all types of destruction, and then run up on each other if you want. It's a whole bunch of that going on in here.
Bro, that
So
turtle. You.
the turtle is I don't know what was going on because I was really caught off guard. I was like, okay, I pieced up this one thing, and it didn't even really take that long to piece him up. The next thing you know, I'm fighting this guy, and he just steps it all the way up. And I'm like, what the heck is he over here just doing like all type of power moves and stuff? He knocked me all the way to the other side of the board, and then like I'm taking a glance at the health bar each time, and he just got like the craziest moveset. And I'm just like, bro, I can barely control this thing as it is. And he knows all his controls. I'm like, dog, am I going against a veteran player? This the NPC. And he just knocking, look, he bouncing me off the wall of the game and everything. So it's still really fun. It's fun, but yeah, he was pretty hard. So I heard the adventure mode is like 8 levels. I only did like 2 or 3 levels because I just needed enough footage for this. But if you are somebody who really just wants to play Godzilla, you don't really want to go through all of the adventure modes. This is a game from the past, so from what I saw, you can put in the cheat codes and unlock everybody from the start, and then just have a good old time destroying everything and fighting everything in the city. If you don't want to like beat the game, this isn't really one of those games you really want to beat anyway. You just want to kind of arcade out like this. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's Godzilla. It's like, I only want to play as Godzilla. I don't want to unlock and play any of these other people. And they give you Godzilla from the beginning, right? So it's like, okay, well, that's all I want to play as anyway. But yeah, I just want to mention that real quick. And we can go back to Ready or Not. Ready or Not, I wouldn't mind getting and playing with some coworkers. I wouldn't mind playing it with you if you want to put it in rotation. But yeah, tactical shooter. Yeah, tactical shooter is brand new to console at least, and it's been out on PC for a couple years now. Yeah, and so that's all I got for that topic. Did we cover all your main topics at this point?
I got one more.
You had the Tekken thing, right? You want to talk
Yep.
about Tekken? Go ahead.
Yeah, so Japan decided to hold a tournament for the elderly. A Tekken 8 tournament for 8 people aged 60 to 93.
Wow.
And they did like, so it was like, 8 player, then 4 player, then 2 player, and you get a winner. And the winner, it came down to the final 2 player were both 73 years old. And the winner was Yoshi Murabi, this nice old elderly grandma who was a panda user. And it's crazy. I don't know why, like, the description where it says 73-year-old panda main. Yoshi Murabi. But she used Panda from Tekken 8. The final fight was Kuma versus King, and Kuma won. And yeah, Yoshi won. Yoshi Murabi won.
Well, that's interesting. Well,
Yeah,
at least I
nice
guess
little elders.
it's funny because it's like it's fair because they owe, I guess, but
Yeah, it's everyone 60 to 93 years old.
90.
All of them. They just held the tournament at a senior home.
When we say 93, so was the oldest person actually 93 in the tournament?
Yes. The oldest person was 93 and the youngest person was 60.
Wow.
And the
I feel
final
like
2 were both 73.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that's not fair to an extent. The 60-year-olds does have an advantage over 93. I just feel like they do. I feel like they do. But
But I mean, the 60-year-old lost to the 73-year-olds.
Yeah, you're right. I just feel like if you 93, like, let me stop before I get canceled.
So, according to the description, it says the final round was packed with tension and surprises. Despite their age and lack of pro-level experience, both players executed impressive combos and timed their rage arts with precision. So they understood the game mechanics. At least the 73-year-olds did. They figured it out.
No.
So they came off like apparently they weren't like pro-level players, of course, but apparently they played very like, neighborhood decently. So it seems like they had at least a little bit of experience with some arcade games from based off of how they played.
Now, was this recorded? Can people go back and watch this whole tournament or something?
Uh, it was an esports event, so it should have been recorded.
All right. Well, if somebody
Oh,
really
held
want
in late
to,
June. Yeah.
lay June. All right. Well, y'all go Google that if y'all really want to see it. That's pretty
Well,
cool.
professional production values and heartwarming moments. Look at that. Uh, yeah, live. It had a live broadcast, player photos. They had commentators for it, narrating the matches because they treated it like a full-on esports event for the elderly.
All right. Cool. I was very pleased with the outcome of this footage because it almost blends in with some of our, more current stuff. It came out very well. So,
I'm gonna be
um,
honest. It looks a lot better than that King Kong game that released recently, and that
yeah,
all the footage I've seen of that. This looks better.
yeah. This is 20 plus years old and stuff, and so I have like the Steam Deck is packed with it, right? It's everywhere. So,
Mm-hmm.
I will have probably going forward maybe just one title here and there. Cause I use these type of games as a warm up before I play like my real stuff, or not want to say real stuff, but more current stuff. The Game Pass, the headsets, or maybe even Donkey Kong or something. Like so, I do want to get more footage of these things going forward. Just as an arcade style, did you see how he stomped his foot? Like I think that's the most hilarious thing in this game.
Yeah.
Like when y'all fighting, if you catch each other at the right angle, it'll be like an animation for like stomping your toe or something, and it's hilarious. So it's got a goofy charm to it, and I do appreciate this as a Godzilla fan. I do encourage everyone to watch the latest two Godzilla films from the Japanese side, which was Shin Godzilla and Godzilla Minus One. I did recently go out and buy a Godzilla figure because I hadn't had one in a long time, and they made some way better figures.
Speaking of
So
that,
I'm
real quick,
yeah.
I also have finally came in the mail. I have because I collect the Funko Pops. I
Hmm.
have the King Kong Funko pop where he has the mechanical arm, and I have
Yeah,
the Godzilla one from the movie. I believe his back spikes are pink
yeah. I
from the
think
most recent
the
one.
the American ones, and if you
Hmm.
are a fan of the American Godzilla and you want the American Godzilla figure, that one is more affordable for a lot of people, even though it's like technically video game price. It's like $50. There's one that's called the Hiya Godzilla, so Hiya. Go Google that, and you can find where you can get that figure online. And it's a nice full blown figure you could have to like be in your collection of stuff, and sit on the shelf or whatever. I got the Godzilla minus one because I thought he looks the most like your standard Godzilla. And then Godzilla minus two, the sequel will be in production, or I think it's in production, but it will be available probably in the next few years. But you're going to get a Godzilla film next year and the year afterwards. It's going to be a Japanese and an American release. I think the American release is Godzilla X Con Supernova or something like that. So it's more King Kong as well. So I think it would be really fun to get another Godzilla game because there's been so many new iterations of Godzilla so far, and they could easily put Godzilla from the American and from the Japanese in a game with the new films, the new enemies, the new designs and stuff for like some of the enemies as well. With the old ones, and just come out with an ultimate game, and hopefully they make enough copies and they don't lose a license like they did for that PS4 game that's like extra rare and you gotta pay like $300 or something just to get it, and it's like, come on. But I look forward to it. I will get it day one when it comes out because I ain't got time for somebody talking about they only had like 10 copies of it or something. But yeah, I'm ready to move on. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at the middle of the road, what we call it, the basically our unofficial sponsor, which is Epic Games. Epic Games likes to give out new game titles every week, And not only that, we'll highlight a couple sales or something that we might see, or something we might want you to take a look at in your hometown, in your area. Right now for Epic Games, I believe the game that they had out there that was considered free from now until the 24th was called Sid Meier Civilization 6 Platinum Edition.
Yeah, Civ
Um,
6, good game.
you know about tell me about this game if you know about it. I don't know about it.
Yeah, so the Civilization games are they're basically, oh, what's that genre called? It's real-time strategy.
Okay.
So the idea is you're kind of managing for Civilization. You start with like it'll go all the way back to, let's say, like Mayan and Aztec, or like really classic civilizations, and you're pretty much trying to build an empire. So build an army, build towns, trade with others. But then when you're going to war and stuff like that, everything's just continuously happening, and you gotta like click around and manage things like as things go. Um, it's one of the nicer introduction for real time strategy. So the fact that it's given away for free, I think is really good for those that want to check out a real time strategy game, because it is a genre like a beast in its own
Mm-hmm.
to get used to. Um, but from my understanding, Civ 6 is like a nicer one to like if you're first starting out. Five or six, one of those two, are very much like you're learning how to get into it. But yeah, you just start like building an empire as it takes you through the eras to be the best and build the best kingdom. I know people who like play like this is like I know some people who like where everybody else would be like, I'm hopping on for like Call of Duty every single day. I knew some people that was hopping on Civilization like 4. It was like that was when they got home to go do, and they're just on it for hours.
Mm. Hey, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And
Oh, and I should also mention it's like a top-down almost view on like a map. So like it looks like like the background would be like an actual like map, like like a legit like paper-ish map, and then like it'll show like little colonies like moving around, and you're just like clicking around and managing them all.
now they did mention this is the platinum edition, so I'm pretty sure that
Oh.
to me that sounds like it comes with pretty much everything, or a good
Mm-hmm.
amount of everything, if not everything. So to give people that, even if you might have to pay for something else, platinum does seem like it's like an ultimate edition. It doesn't say it's definitive, but it does seem like you get enough stuff, So there should be plenty of content going on or going around for this. And then the next game that they have from July 24th to July 31st is called Legion TD2. Another one that I don't know too much about, but it will be available July 24th, and you can go and claim it. And then afterwards, you can see what it's about. Just like how I said plenty of times before, you don't need to have a PC right away. You can still just make an account, and then afterwards, once you do get a PC or a handheld, it doesn't matter what you get. Like a Steam Deck, for example, you could play the game and it'll look just as clear as this right here. That's like 20 plus years old, right? Um,
This
yeah.
might be a different. I don't know if it's going to be too long of a topic, but I wanted your opinion on someone who has both. If you're going for like playing, let's say, Epic games, would you
Mhm.
suggest Steam Deck or Rogue Ally?
Epic Games. So you mean like you have both libraries, but you might prefer the Epic library over Steam?
Yeah, or just like there's a list of Epic games that you want to play and you want to do it portable, right? Would you suggest like if someone
Um,
didn't have either system yet and they know like, hey, if I get this, I'll be playing those free to play games on Epic
yeah.
along with maybe some Steam games. Uh,
What the problem really comes down to the Steam Decks is at its core a Linux based system, and it has its things that's like a little bit more locked down out the box. So you would have to go through like some tutorials to work on the back end to get through to Epic, and then
okay.
add Epic to your library. Steam's OS allows you to add things like, for example, my PlayStation 2 and GameCube titles on the Steam Deck looks like they're a part of Steam. I have the artworks. So no matter how it was being shown off, it has the like long banner artwork as well as the DVD cover artwork of the game.
Mm.
And it's like right next to every game, as if like the games that I purchased and the games that I have through emulation are all next to each other there. Steam allows you to do that, but you would have to do some work on the back end just to have the Epic games within Steam. Where if you had a rogue ally, the background or the system itself will mainly look like a desktop. And then it has a thing that's called Armory Crate that makes it look a little bit more user friendly. Where if you click on it from there, it's just gonna basically click on the desktop icon, but it looks like it has like a little bit of a UI where you can use, and then afterwards, like it just launches the game because the Rogue Ally is a Windows based system. So there's no workaround, it just plays it. The new one, which I was going to get to, we probably can transition to it in a second. The Xbox versions will have Xbox software on it where that particular device will have Xbox's app integrated in it on a certain level where you're able to access some of your Xbox games that you have on it, and then access Steam and then access Epic, right? Without doing any workarounds. Where on the Steam Deck, Game Pass will be a workaround because it's not directly available out the box on the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck still has the biggest popularity because it's the Steam Deck and the community works at things along with like its official developers. And so a lot of little things you can go under the Steam Deck and customize based on the community, where the Rogue Ally, you really can't do that. You just kind of like, well, you can, it's a little bit more work because the community is not there. They're very loyal to Steam. They're so loyal to Steam that even under Epic, being on their computer, they will not use its launcher because of their loyalty to Steam, and they just want it to be under Steam, right? I still suggest in the long run probably the Rogue Ally. I actually would suggest you hold out for the Xbox's version because it'll have the latest tech and then the latest software, where I think they're holding off on presenting that software on the other devices because of whatever partnership they have with Xbox right now for the Xbox Rogue Ally X. But at the very end of the day, for both devices, you can still play everything. It's just more work on the front end if you have a Steam Deck. But if you're somebody who has that, you might be somewhat into tinkering just a little bit anyway. Especially when I was talking about all these Ambernick devices. Because I do still encourage everybody, if you're interested in all that old school stuff, grab a couple of those devices now, because I do think in the future we may hear that Ambernick might get shut down or sued because they were, selling a bunch of that stuff. But there's going to always be some tinkering no matter what. It don't matter which one of those devices you go with. The Rogue Ally, I put the software and stuff on there so that it can actually also work as a PlayStation Portable. Rogue Ally is very good as working with or becoming a PlayStation Portal if you wanted to. But there's some work there that you have to put an icon in there. You have to do some some remote play casting type software stuff. But once you do it, you follow somebody's tutorial, then the Rogue Ally will basically be the PlayStation Portal as well. Okay. For anybody out there, because I know I've discussed that over time, but I don't really do it that often, so I kind of left it alone. But yeah, you can still use it for that if you wanted to. Just so anybody knows. But yeah, I have both devices. I've largely turned my Steam Deck really into my PS2 GameCube device where I can play it docked and capture footage or play it portable, right? But officially, I'm still playing Persona 4 Golden underneath the Steam Deck, and then everything else really it goes to the Rogue Ally. But honestly, there's so many systems and there's so many games that I started. I'm trying to consolidate real quick so that I can just go one by one and get through the games. But there's so much. But I do encourage everybody, go grab one of those and more expensive systems, and then grab Ambernick device this summer right now before we ultimately hear that they're getting shut down because of Nintendo lawyers or whoever. Because they have some really good devices over there. I want to get a couple more different colors before it's all over. Yeah, I do want to mention a couple other things while we're still here in the Epic Games section. There was a game that we've probably talked about from here and there whenever they showed the shows, but it's higher on my radar now that I've got some more information on it. It's a game called Death Ground. Death Ground was the Jurassic Park looking game where it's a first person shooter basically, and then dinosaurs is everywhere, you got to shoot them, right? So I'm hearing that this has a full co-op campaign and it's more of a horror game. It's horror based basically, and I was like, excellent, that's another one that's different from some other things that we can play. And so that's on my radar in order for us to play co-op at some point. I do also want to mention the RoboCop game has now announced a brand new standalone title that's called RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business. It's a standalone game. It's not DLC for the other game. So if you have the other game, you will still need to purchase this. This is $30. And the first game is on sale on a lot of platforms. You can see it for as low as like $5.99 if you don't already have it. And so I thought it was pretty cool that that's out there. I do also want to mention on Steam and on Epic, there was a game that was $20 that's been marked down to $1.99 that I did just recently buy. It's called Recompile. It looks way more like a 3D Tron-ish type title where you're running and platforming a little bit. And it got marked all the way down to like $2. So I was just like, okay, it was on my list. I decided to buy it. I think it's still $2 right now. If you do it under Epic, they'll give you 20% back towards your next purchase. If you go under Steam, you just get it for the $2, right? So that's out there for anybody who wants to check that out. That's something that I purchased this week. Any new sales, any new games or anything you wanted to mention? Anything you bought?
Nope, nothing on from me.
All right. So yeah, there's that. Now I do want to transition real quick to the Xbox Ally X and the Xbox Rogue Ally, the white one. So these devices were shown off at the Xbox's show this past summer. I say this, we're still in the summer, this past month. But it was recently mentioned that the price leaked, right? And the price, I mean, it's still just a leak. We don't know if it's true, but it seems very, very accurate if you go look at the regular Rogue Ally X, the all black one. And so basically the white one, that's the Xbox version, is supposed to be $699 or $700. And then the black one, which has a lot more bells and whistles, is actually being rumored to be priced at $1,050. And so pretty hefty, pretty steep, I would imagine, for a lot of people. But that's the price, at least for the rumor's sake. We don't know if it's true, but it seems pretty accurate. It was leaked by somebody out there. We don't really care who leaked it. but we'll know what the official price is at some point because they're gonna have to tell you eventually if they want you to buy it, right? But that's what they're saying right now, and I do still believe that they said this was set to come out in the fall time too, probably around the same time as Go See Yotei. But yeah, $700 for the white one, about $1,000 for the black one. What do you think about that?
Uh, a lot. Grand is a lot.
Yeah, a grand. I mean, a grand. You can do a lot of things with a grand, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You are still looking at one of these devices, right?
Yeah. Because I want a handheld uh PC. I'm also looking to upgrade just my PC in general. But yeah, I've been looking at the devices. Still, like, kind of like, I'm not like jumping to go get one yet. Um, because I want to make sure if I get it, it's gonna actually be used, and I'm not just buying another thing that's just kind of sitting around.
Yeah, I
Does that
mean,
make sense? But
ultimately though, I will admit some of the stuff it's gonna sit. You gonna have
yeah,
something that's sitting around, like so like I'm bigger on the headset right now, right? Because it's new. But I will
mm,
admit the Rogue Ally I haven't touched really in months. But
yeah,
the Rogue Ally, not the Rogue Ally, the Steam Deck and the other headset has been like some of my main go-tos along with the PC and Series X because of Game Pass, right? Um the Switch 2 is like quite literally the newest paperweight that I have. Like when I
yeah,
say I turned it on just to get the footage for this, I literally turned it on just to get the footage for this. I was only more focused in on tinkering with it because the footage wasn't capturing correctly for a while. Ever since I like solved that problem, I turned that thing right back off. And I don't have no intentions on playing this really for a while because most of the games that I want to play is everywhere else. And I do want to encourage people to really look into the advantages of the Steam Deck with emulation with PS2 and GameCube titles because it's so much fun to go back to those titles. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's a off the record gaming to me. It's like you just go back. You're not really too much worried about trophies and achievements, even though they had retro achievements. I think both. The I got an achievement on the Hulk game when I was getting some footage, if I'm not mistaken. But like the Steam Deck really works very well with emulation for those two devices, and the community works at making sure things is patched up for it as well. So like when we go back to Rogue Ally versus Steam Deck, it's really apples and oranges when it comes down to the nitty gritty. Like the stuff that is made for, like the games that you've purchased, the Steam library, your Epic library, good old games library and stuff. It works pretty much the same on both. There's just more steps coming from you. But the community makes it look a lot better on the Steam Deck when it comes to emulation. I will admit that. Um, so yeah, yeah. Where are we in this show? All right, we almost over. Any other topics for you before I wrap this up and go to my last couple?
no, no, I got everything.
All right. The VR. It's called the Upload VR Showcase. Did you watch the showcase? The answer was no,
I
right? You
did.
didn't. You did. I'm so happy that you watched it and you got to tell the people how many games that you buy in day one. Go ahead and tell the people about this show. How you feel about it? It was an hour and 16 minutes. They said they
Yeah.
had 50 titles there. Some of them exclusive titles to the MetaQuest. What do you think about this show?
So a lot of the stuff looked good. Like if I eventually get a VR, like it's nice to see that there's a bunch of games that do look interesting that I want to play. I was into pretty much like so every shooter that they showed, I thought in
Mm-hmm.
some way looked interesting. Um, in some form or another. So like I think the most impressive one I liked was what was it? I think it was Memoriam. It was like the sci-fi horror kind of one, the like
Mm-hmm.
scarier one. looked good. And then the one they showed right after that, the Zero Caliber, just because it was more like your normal shooter. Um, those look good. The skateboarding game first confused me because everything looked like it was like third person view, and I'm like, that just looks like a low quality skateboarding game. But then they showed some of the first person stuff, like the
Yeah.
actual VR part, so that looked good. Of course, I love chess. I'm a chess player, so the
Mm-hmm.
chess club game looked interesting with like the animated like super chess pieces. I thought that was really cool. Um, and then there was like a neon racing game, like Pedal something.
Yeah.
Um, Pedal Rebel, I believe it was called. That one seemed pretty cool.
Pedal
As
Rebel was
well.
like the first one that I wrote down. So Pedal Rebel VR, it kind of looks like a motorbiker racer with some Tron graphics too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, somebody had to Google Tron. I know I made that a reference a couple times. Tron was like really a 3D ish movie, right? Where everybody was sucked into this world and whatever.
Yeah,
But
best
the
games. Shout
graphics.
out to one of the most underrated video games ever, in my opinion, Tron
Hmm.
Evolution. Um, it was a tie-in. So, like, of course, you had your '80s Tron movie, and then your like 2010s Tron movie, and Tron Evolution was supposed to be the bridge in between the two. Um, super underrated game. That thing was like it was PS3, and 360 era. That thing was awesome.
Yeah. In this showcase, you mentioned shooters. One of the shooters that I looked at was called Reach. I believe it was
Mm-hmm.
like a parkour style game where you're shooting at the same time and you have some like powers here and there. Um, that stood out to me. They did have a lot of Beat Saber clones. I don't know if
Yes.
you peeped that out.
The one I liked was I think it was like the first one
Yeah,
that was shown. And I think it's just because it was the first one. Once it kept going, it was like, all right, there's a lot. But I think it was called like Rager.
yeah. I think you might be right.
But yeah, a
Um,
lot of Beat Saber clones. Uh,
One unique title that I looked at was called Skyrunner, where you play as a drone, I guess, and you're
mm,
like rescuing like some Toy Story type people or whatever, Toy Story toys or whatever. Um, I thought it was unique. I was like, you know what? Why not? A game that I'm probably not gonna worry about, because it looked like it was the same game, but World War Z in VR. That's apparently has the release date August 12th, 2025. I mean, I feel like we kind of played it already. I don't know if I
yeah.
really need to go back and see the VR version.
You don't want the
Um,
big giant Titan zombie running up tackling you, that one in the police uniform, like
no.
grab you and slam you down, and like you gotta wait till your friends help. Oh,
I
speaking of
mean,
friends, the
yeah.
first game that was shown, I thought was a unique co-op game where one person's on the phone and the other person's in VR and had to describe it. It seemed like
Mm,
a cool to me it seems like a really cool way to be able to play a game with someone who doesn't normally play video games. Like if you
yeah.
have one of those friends that just kind of like they'd rather like they're just games are not their thing, and it's like, well, you go on your phone and like let's work together on this. I thought that was kind of or the other way, where it's like I'm gonna be on my phone and now you're stuck trying to describe the video game world. It seems like a nice way to include someone who doesn't usually participate, or like a little family thing where like, all right, like mom help me out or something. So
Yeah. Um, but that was pretty much all I have from it. I didn't grab that much. Did you grab a couple more?
no, there's a few where I was just like, this look boring. Like that, it was like the father one or something. Fatherhood
Okay.
or something like that. But overall, those were the main ones. I thought those were all cool. Yeah, a lot of the
I
shooters, like I said, was cool.
I do want to mention because I'm tracking this every week. The Xbox MetaQuest partnership headset that's all black with the extra stuff. That's
Hmm.
still sold out. They did not restock that at all. I'm not sure if they're ever gonna do it. It seems like the buzz from it is starting to go away because it's just like nobody's able to get it, and they're not really advertising anymore. It almost makes you wonder, it's like, well, why did you do it if you was only gonna make like 100 or something? But I'm glad I got mine. For everybody else, you can still get the same experience that I have. You just have to do a little bit more work of getting the system. You may already have an Xbox controller. There was some video footage I saw out there where somebody quite literally just spray painted theirs black. If you really want to do that, you could do that. Just be careful with the lenses. You got to cover it up. But yeah, I plan to get the original Beat Saber game and then the Batman Arkham City or Arkham game, VR game. If you get the regular MetaQuest, one of them comes with that one already. The Xbox version one didn't come with it, but those games are not really that expensive. And the experience in itself, if you've never experienced VR, is second to none, basically. I do want to mention, I went ahead and bought this like battery bank that's gonna probably come in the mail later on this week. That's a Anchor device and a cable cord, and so it should give me a full like 6 hours worth of like gameplay on the MetaQuest, and then I could take that same little device and velcro it probably on the Rogue Ally and get like 4 or 5 more hours on that as well. So just adding to my arsenal. That's one thing about some of these devices. The battery life is not that good. If you chose the little white version of the Rogue Ally, you will quite literally get like 2 hours or less of battery. It almost makes it like unplayable sometimes if you're really intensely on it. So you would need to hook a cord to it or get a battery bank for it, basically. Yeah. Now, are we done with all our video game topics? Because I got one more topic for the people who remember the old school episodes where we just talk nerdcore stuff. I think this might be an important topic for them. But if we're done with gaming, thank you for the people out there that have been rocking with me. I do still have more things in the work where maybe the quality might not be that good, but I am going to start coming back on here with some solo vids where I just literally just turn the camera on and go live and just talk and then turn it right back off and there's your footage because I ain't got time no more. But and then I'll have some better quality stuff as well. But all right, we are an hour and 27 minutes in, so I'm not going to make this too long, but I do want to rehash a very old topic that was like not really gaming, but we go there every now and then, and that happens to be the Power Ranger topic. Now, we talk Power Rangers all the time, but I thought it was very interesting, the news that I got, and I'll just call this part just the Power Ranger news. So, currently, if you were living under a rock the entire time and decided you wanted to get yourself a auto-morphing Power Ranger, and you have never had one from the past, I mean, you probably can still go find one used off eBay. They're always there on eBay. But these newer ones are out there. Apparently, they're $10.60. And I don't know if they're everywhere. I haven't seen them in person, and I haven't seen them available online, but they are popping up at certain retail stores like Walmart, maybe in your area is there. But they have the new Automorphin Power Rangers. I don't think they look that good, but $10 each. I can't be too mad at you. I guess, you know, $60-ish and some tax, and you can get all 6. Basically, there's no white one. It's just the green and all the original 5, right? They do have the Power Blaster available that kind of like shifts into like the little mini sword. They got their Morpher with the coins that's out there, and then they got their infamous original Dino Megazord, which the only thing that's good about that one is that it's a little bit more bigger than your original Megazords. All of it does look cheap, I will admit. If you are somebody who just never ever had a Dino Megazord, I do encourage you to go find one of the better made ones that came out in the past few different versions of them. This one, no, basically. I think you deserve to have a properly really nice one at this point. I did get the Zap one a couple years ago that was supposed to be like this like Ascension version that looks really fancy. Many years ago, I got on eBay and grabbed the original. And then I had the Legacy one when it was at Target really cheap at some point, right? I mentioned all of that to mention this because this is very interesting. Do you remember the Kara Curry combined Dino Megazord? That was basically the anime style $450 Megazord. Do you remember that? And we were looking at it. We were talking about it every now and then. So
Super
I had to
cool looking, way too expensive.
I had to do some research. Well, before I say that, if for anybody who really is looking at some of these new things, it's not necessarily Hasbro. They partner with a company called Playmates. Google Playmates Power Ranger Automorphin, and then you'll see the regular more Automorphin stuff, and then after that it'll deviate into all the other stuff, and then you can go find the SKUs and get out there and hunt for that if you want. But as far as the one that's a little bit more expensive, I have to pull it up on my computer real quick because I had it bookmarked, the name of it. But the original one was $450. Now, I went back and looked at some notes and stuff and everything from the past. So it was originally introduced in 2022, delayed into 2023. Almost a whole year it was delayed. And we were talking about before how they just can't get these things out to the people. Well, interesting enough, after that, they quickly just called it sold out and then was done with it, right? And so it went away for a while. We didn't hear about this at all in 2024, really. Well, interesting enough, it has made a return. And I find it to be very interesting because I wish I can get the opinion or the reaction of someone who spent this money, because now I have it up on my screen. I'm going to tell you the full name of it. So for anybody who really missed out and they think they want this now, it is called the Explosion Model 25 centimeter scale metal alloy Chokokin. So CHOCOKIN mecha robot action figure. And it also has the name. It has the name also with it, ZL-01 and then ZL-01 Beast God. Quite literally, that's his entire name. That's his entire name. It has returned. It's available for pre-order, and its estimated time of arrival is September 2025. And they are selling this for $130.
That is so much more reasonable. Hold on, man. Now I might buy it. Like, damn
now,
because wasn't the other one like 400?
Yes, it was 450.
That's right.
It was 450, and I thought this was crazy, so I had to Google the centimeters and everything. I had to make sure it scales up, and it actually does match the scale of the other version. The stock photos are relatively the same, but you could tell they took some different photos because it's being sold under a website called Oh My Primus that sells a lot of high-end Transformers, Power Rangers, other products and everything. I have this bookmark. I am thinking about it myself because it comes out September 2025, right around the corner. That's my birthday time. Usually I splurge on something I ain't got no business splurging on my birthday time. But it's $130. You can pre-order with as little as $20 as a deposit right now to hold one. And interesting enough, the people who sold the original one, that was $450, that does have the official Hasbro license with it. They were called Flame Toys, and they have just announced the Dragon Zord that goes with it. I think I showed you that as well. Now that one might hold the 400 plus price tag. They haven't said anything yet. But if you just want that original 5, you can come pre-order. I did do some research on Oh My Primus website. That's a toy store website. People are saying it's legit. You don't have to worry about it. But if you are on the fence, you can pre-order with as little as $20. I did set up an account for myself and put one in a cart, but I don't think I'm not too sure if I really want to do that. Plus, it almost sounds like I have to wait for Dragon Zord to go through the full runaround as well, if I want that. And then for me, from my perspective, I feel like I've had it's basically he's Agent Smith. It's Agent Smith basically. It's like, how many versions of this do you really need? I was really looking through it and I'm like, there's so many different versions of this thing. But if I was you out there, I would go for this before you go for the Playmates really low quality version of that Megazord. That Megazord that they're selling each piece in pieces, so you don't even get it all right away together. I think it also is $10 each, but it's like in pieces. So quite literally, if you don't hunt and get one of them, you might not even ever be able to completely do your set, right? And there's no mention of its Dragon Zord right now, so I don't know why they drip feed it like that, because the people want the product, right? Get the people the product, make sure you get it in their hands. But yes, the $400 version of this came back as $130, is out there. I just wonder how the people who bought this for $400 feel, because it wasn't that much long ago, and it's like now at this point you can get like 3 of them for the same price with a couple dollars to spare. Or at the very least, this one and Dragon Zord, we'll see how the Dragon Zord is priced, but I'm pretty sure both of them are going to be, well, this is 150 or 130. I think the Dragon Zord is definitely going to be above 100. But I don't know if they're going to go for the full 400 immediately. But yeah, that's the thing. Well, your thoughts? So you think you might go for this? This might be something you might think about?
I might. It is way more reasonably priced. I believe last time we talked about it, where I said like 400 is way too much, like 100's pushing it, but I can see that way more reasonable. 130 because of, times and
everything, tariffs, whatever.
Crap. So yeah, all of that at 130 seems correct. So with something like this being made of metal and all that good stuff, a lot more reasonable. So I am considering it.
I just thought it was pretty interesting because I had I had been looking at it for a long time, but I had wiped my hands with it at some point. I was just like, well, it's just gone at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it showed his face. I looked
at it as like, I ain't spending 400. We good. That was like my whole thought process.
Yeah, so for a lot of people, at least for the Megazord side of things, if you really don't have one, I would say this is more something you should consider compared to the other one. Just because you still want a certain level of quality. They still all transform the same way. They still all do the same tank mode, same all of that. If you go look at the $450 model, the videos of the people who did get it, it's very posable, very flashy. It's everything that you were probably looking for. And then I do expect you guys to have like a regular version as well somewhere, but make sure you get a quality one. I know anybody who was doing it in the past, they probably got the show, I think it's called Show You Jokin' or something. The really, really good looking one from the past. I got the Zap one, that was the Hasbro one, with its Dragon Zord. It's been in the background of like almost all my videos, right? At least in the box. But yeah, I'm hot and cold on it. I don't know. I have to really think about it over the next few weeks, whether or not I'm going to do it. Because from my perspective, it's like the 5th or 6th model. I don't even know. But I have them. I bought the when I bought the Zap one, they were also selling a $40 model on Hasbro. If anybody can go back and look at it, it came out in 2022, I believe, or 2021. It was inside of Walmart where I was locally. You had to buy them in pieces, but there were like three different packages, and they were all three like $13 each.
Oh.
And I got them for like just around $35 when you do the tax and everything. And I
Hmm.
never took it out of its packet. I just had them. I just got them just because they were just sitting right there. That's the beauty of putting stuff in the store, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, this next model is supposed to be in the stores, but they're packaged in five pieces. Like the other one, it was like two, and then the trans, what is it called? T Rex was by himself.
Hmm.
Where the new one now is like all five of them are separate. Um, so if you go get the low end model, go ahead because it's still cheap, but definitely invest in one of these bigger, more expensive models. If you're really a real fan of Power Rangers, you owe it to yourself to have at least one flashy one, right? For me, the flashy one was the 2022 Zap version.
Hmm.
But I'll think about it and I'll let y'all know if I did it. But that's it, man. That's all I got. You got anything else? Any other thing?
Nah,
Long
I'm all
episode.
set.
All right, we can get ready to game, play some Tiny Tina, and we will catch y'all on the next episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Peace.